Hello to all my retro video game friends out there. How's everybody doing today? I hope that everyone is having a great week so far. We are going to dig into some WATA pricing options, kind of talk about what it costs, what to expect. But before I do that, please, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button, karate chop the notification bell, as my son and daughter like to say. And if you do like what you hear, please hit the like. That would help us gain some traction. Before I talk about WATA, I think it's important. There was an announcement here recently that CGC, the big comic book grading company, is moving into video game grading, which I think is good news. Competition coming for WATA as well as for VGA. Those are the two main grading companies at this time, so you would have a third. Now it looks to be on their website that they are looking to hire graders at this point. So they are looking to bring on some new people in this space, experts, specialists, if you will, to help compete. What I will say, as I do also operate in the sports card space, is that this will probably take time, because CGC did the same thing in sports cards where they opened CSG, and that's their sports card grading arm. But it took a good little bit. I mean, I believe that they had actually announced that towards the spring of 2020, CGC had made that announcement, and they didn't actually kickstart their program until maybe January or February this year. And even still, it's going to take time, for them to kind of gain ground in this space, as it does with any grading company. If you're a new grading company in any sort of space, it takes time for consumers to get to know you, etc. Now, what does help them is there is some crossover, I think, from comic book people, sports card people, to collecting video games. So they are a recognized name in the market. And then they were also bought out recently by Blackstone Group, which is very well funded. It's a huge company. So I don't think that funding is going to be an issue as far as, making advancements and really kind of accelerating hiring and those sorts of things. So CGC video game grading will be very interesting to see how that works out and how they can compete, especially with WATA now being bought out by PSA, which is the largest sports card grader in the market. So it's big business battling these days. It's very interesting. All right, well, let's go ahead and dig into WATA pricing. If you are new to grading, and I am one of these people, I am documenting my journey. I have not submitted to WATA yet. I am fairly new in the video game collecting space. I've been playing retro video games for a long time and have been introduced to this recently, and really enjoying digging deep into this process. And part of that, of course, is figuring out what does it cost to get games graded. And I know that these prices have gone up with the increased demand here that's happened over the last 24 months. From what I can see, WATA has been being sold, their games have been sold on Heritage for the last 2 years, and that is starting to increase as far as volume, not just the volume of graded games, but also the volume of auctions that are happening at Heritage. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got here. So if we go to the WATA website, and we look at, they've got kind of the speed run and the turbo option. Now, the turbo option is not available for CIB, which is complete in box, and that consists of games that a cartridge, box, and a manual. So they do have to have, these things to be able to be graded CIB. Or with sealed. So turbo is not an option for those. If you do have loose cartridges, the turbo option is available at $60, and it looks like the value must be under 1,000, and then the estimated wait time to get them back is at 120 business days. And they've made clear, along with a lot of grading companies, all the grading companies that I've seen in the collectible space are behind and have a backlog because of the immense demand. And it's no different here with WATA. So you've got 120 business days, but there's an asterisk by it because that may very well be a lot longer. There is an $85 speed run option as well. And the speed run option is 35 business days, so $85 for a loose cartridge, 35 business days is the estimate. Now, if you're looking for a CIB or a sealed game, it is, again, 35 business days for the speed run option, but it's $170 to get one of those graded. And then if you want to really speed up the process to an estimated 7 business days, it's an extra $125. So if you're really looking for quick turnaround. It's almost $300 to get that game graded. And then there also is liability to take into account. It's included if the game is valued at less than $1,000. If it's between $1,000 and $2,499 in declared value, there will be a sliding scale. And then at $2,500 plus, you've got an additional 2% of declared value that's added on as part of the total grading cost. So grading costs can go up. Now, I mean, if you have valuable games, of course, this stuff doesn't really matter to you as much. I think where it does come into play is where you might have some borderline games where you're just not sure how they're going to grade and if there is a market for them. That's one thing with graded video games is there is a large collector base, but there's also a portion that is what would be considered, I would say, investor-based that are coming in, and so it's going to be very interesting. This is even though video games have been graded for 10 plus years and it has been a market that has existed, it has not been a mainstream market, and so that's what we're starting to see a little bit more of is an uptick in demand over the last 2 years. And now with these large companies acquiring these smaller grading companies and them linked to auction houses and everything else, you will see added exposure to the mainstream audience is what I'm expecting. I'm speculating there, but I have to believe that with these acquisitions, they are looking to grow out this space. And graded video games has been kind of a cottage industry for the most part over the last little bit. Some diehard collectors, and honestly, I've seen some amazing collections online just with people that have unbelievable, gaming collections. It's really, really impressive, especially with a lot of these retro and vintage games that it's just really cool to see. Now, some added features or added options here. I thought these were interesting again. When I look at, if I'm comparing these across other collectible spaces, one thing that stood out was light cleaning and heavy cleaning. Now, if you're in the sports card space, you don't think to really do any of this stuff as far as cleaning goes. I mean, maybe for certain things, a stain that maybe you're trying to, you're trying to get out a little bit on a vintage card. I think that, that happens. But I mean, for the most part, you don't really mess with it too much when you're sending it to grading. You wipe dust off and things like that to try to help out. And that's essentially what this is too. I mean, but they have light cleaning and heavy cleaning, which I think is interesting. It's $6 for a sealed cartridge for light cleaning, and it's $18 for CIB complete inbox. So they're cleaning all the things. It's $18 for the light cleaning. And then you have heavy cleaning, which is for stuff like ink and just other things that could be other issues that are more, detrimental to a grade than what, some dust or some little debris would be. So, and I'd be interested in hearing if you've used WATA and used these services, if you feel like it's really helped getting a better result. I'd just be interested to hear, are you guys using WATA for grading now? Are you submitting? How are you liking it? Or are you a VGA person? Or are you just, collecting them raw and not necessarily grading anything? I'd like to hear from the community, learn from you all. Guys, I hope you have an amazing week. I hope that this helped if you're looking into WATA grading fees, costs, etc. It'll be interesting to see how this space grows out, and I'm excited to be a part of it. So thank you very much for joining. Stay awesome, and I will see you again next time.